AJ Styles doing something to his wife or something. But then I've seen all that with Jericho, so I don't even know if they can work that again. But it would take something like that. It can't just be, I want to come back and win the title. You know, that just can't be the answer, surely. That's can't happen if you're retired. You were retired by the Undertaker, so I have no idea whether it needs the Undertaker to come back and give his blessing. I have no idea at all. But Mr. WrestleMania, I'm sure WWE would love to have him there next year, no doubt about it in my mind. And the only one thing I will say to it, as a bit of a knock to Sean here, and he's an amazing athlete, Matt. I think we both, even as Brett fans, we know how good Shawn Michaels is. He's an amazing performer, absolutely no doubt about it, and he is the title of Mr. WrestleMania in a lot of ways. But tell me this, Matt. I mean, he's not had a great track record of getting the ratings any higher in any of his time at the top. So when they say this is going to be one of the big returns, I'm not sure it'll even be as sort of climactic as perhaps even just having Goldberg. Quite frankly, it might even just be the same. I'm not sure how big of a deal that would get people going, other than the people that are going to be there in the Royal Rumble because it's his hometown. So
Yeah,
that's something else to think about.
I get the feeling that it would have an initial huge like spike in the ratings when people are just sort of tuned in, going, "Wait a minute, I thought this guy retired. What happened here?"
Yeah.
And then after actually a couple of weeks, then it might just slip back down again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there. But yeah, like I say, this could be just an absolute load of nothing. I just really doubt that it was AJ Styles got bored at home and went on Photoshop and decided to just put that out randomly. I do believe that was a WWE constructed piece of artwork, no doubt about it in my mind, despite what they want to say. Okay, Matt. Obviously, this Sunday we're going into Hell in a Cell. We did go through a lot of these matches last week, so I don't want to spend too long talking about it. But from what we're gauging at the moment, Matt, what we got Enzo and Big Cass are going to be fighting Gallows and Carl Anderson. That's been added to the card. Is that a decent match? Do you think, as far as the tag team match goes on the night?
Yeah, I think as decent as they could get. I mean, Gallows and Anderson haven't really, been looking on top form. Maybe they can pull something out of this. Maybe they can actually make themselves get back on track. I mean, I'm hoping they can, because if they lose again, it's going to be so bad for them.
Yeah. New Day, Big E, Kofi Kingston, or Xavier Woods, whoever gets the two participants up against the team of Cesaro and Sheamus, who of course ended that beautiful best of seven to get this. Matt, just a quick talk on Cesaro and Sheamus. Have you enjoyed the chemistry between the two? Do you think it's working, or do you think this is something that is being tested and it isn't working?
I like the chemistry they have inside the ring together, but this whole kind of story they got, well, it's too much Daniel Bryan Kane. It's too much like Team Hell, I hate you, or it's too much of that. I mean, we've seen it quite a few times before, but I think for them two, it doesn't really work that much. You'd think they would have a little bit of mutual respect for each other. After going for a best of seven, you'd think you might respect the person.
Yeah, totally with you there. I feel they try and make Cesaro funny too much, and it doesn't suit him. He's just not that character. He's not. He's trying too hard now, and it doesn't come off well for him. I can't understand for the life of me why WWE just doesn't let Cesaro just be Cesaro, who everybody appreciated when he went up against John Cena, and they saw this guy's talents, how good he can be. I really wish they would just go back to that, but we get what we get. I'm expecting pretty much New Day victory here, Matt. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, it's got to be that way for me. I think that record's looming too near now for them to actually pass that opportunity up. It's not going to come around again anytime soon. So if WWE can surpass that record, this looks like the perfect time for it.
Sure. TJ Perkins will be facing Brian Kendrick in the Cruiserweight Championship match. I don't know really if there's too much to add to this. It is what it is. I've stated what I thought about the cruiserweight division thus far. I'm hoping that they add more depth to it because I think they need it. Your feelings on that match and who goes over there? I would probably go with TJ Perkins still.
Yeah, I'd have to go to TJ as well, but I think this is now a case of like they had this match already. They finished the match. They thought, well, it was alright. We could probably improve on that, and then they went, well, okay, you can. You can do it like you can do it the month after. I don't really think it's necessary to have this. I would have liked to see him have a new challenger, but at the same time, Brian Kendrick is good, so
Yeah, yeah.
and he is getting his kind of last run here, so he is what he is, I guess.
Yeah. US title match: Roman Reigns up against Rusev. Hell in a Cell #1, shall we say? I don't know what I think about this. I don't like the idea that there are 3 Hell in a Cells. I think I stated that a lot last week. Nonetheless, we're getting them, whether I like it or not. I just feel with this one, this has just been built for Roman. I can't see Rusev getting this back at all. So I go over Roman Reigns' victory. I don't know, with these 3 matches, not so much maybe Sasha Banks and Charlotte, but at least with the male participants, Matt, they've got to look very different to get away with this that night, because I just don't see it. I think 2 is more than enough, let alone 3. But I'm sure we're going to get one right at the start of the show. I'm guaranteeing that almost to break it all up. There's no way these 3 are going to go on at the end, no chance. But otherwise, you might as well just leave the bloody thing down. Here we go again, the next lot. You almost think to yourself, why not just have a fatal 4-way at the end of this? This is a nightmare. Roman Reigns feud, does he keep the belt, Matt? And again, poor old Rusev is going to have to find these ways again after this, because that'll probably break off the feud after this.
Yeah, I think unfortunately it's got to be a Roman win for me. I think he's going to do it. I can only. It is a bit of a mystery why they're in their cell in the first place. I will say that, because they could have picked any other stipulation. They could have had Falls Count anywhere, considering they're fighting all over the place anyway. That makes more sense than a cell, in fact. But to me, to get anything out of this, they have to put the work in. This has to be. They have to live up to the the icon of the cage. They have to actually make it as brutal as it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the most dangerous match. So I think in this, this is where we miss the kind of times when people would use blood, because I think using a bit of blood in this kind of match would take it to the next kind of level, especially if it was Roman who was bleeding. I think that a lot of fans might want to see that. I don't know, but it would make the struggle seem a little bit more real, and then they could use that later on when Charlotte and Sasha are in the cage. They could look a little bit worried.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but then obviously we have Sasha Banks defending the women's title up against Charlotte inside Hell in a Cell. First time for females competitors to go in this match. I thought particularly this should have been made a bigger deal, and it would have been nice just to have this on and going on last and the rest of it, but. Well, we get what we're going to get, Matt. Your feelings going into this, obviously, you're a big Sasha Banks fan. You want it, we all want this, I suppose, if we're supporting the women to pan out well for the first one. I just worry about it being in the middle of the other 2. But your feelings going in, Matt, and the outcome of it.
Yeah, I'm hugely excited for this match. I think it'll be a great one. It might end up being the best match of the night. I have a sneaking suspicion that it probably will be. I think they both have a tremendous amount to prove, not only to the fans to prove that they can do this, but to prove to each other that they can take the women's division to a new level. And for me, it would have been great if this was the main event, because I think the actual main event that they're going to put on is kind of a little bit stale. I think I know which way that's going to go, or at least in my mind, I think I have a clear idea of the winner of that, and it's not really going anywhere for me.
Yeah, I'm as far as the outcome goes on this, I'm going to go with Sasha Banks on this, retaining her title. Even though Charlotte apparently has been very tipped to get that title back, and it's going to be like that for a while. But I've got a feeling Sasha Banks wins this. Kevin Owens defending the Universal Championship up against Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell. Um, this one for you, Matt. What is the outcome here? Is it as predictable as we all think, or is there a is there
Yeah,
a light here?
I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't really like Seth being the number one contender for Kevin Owens' title
Hmm.
because it does really feel like they don't know what to do with Seth. He
Hmm.
doesn't. I'm not. I'm a bit gutted by saying that I wanted him to be a face quite a while ago now
Hmm.
because now he is a face. I don't think he works as well as a face as he does a heel. I think he was natural as a heel. I think a face is a little bit false for him. And some of the things he says sometimes doesn't really add up for what a face would say when he's whinging about like people and conspiracy theories against him and all of that. Um, I just think they're trying to hold the place a little bit for the eventual huge match that they're hoping will be Triple H versus Seth. So I don't really see the title getting put
Mm.
on Seth because of that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame in that instance. I mean, you never know. We might even get Triple H out in this one, running amok, because they're going to need to do something to make one of these very different. So it wouldn't surprise me. Matt, it'll be very interesting to see by next week what we both think is our favourite Hell in a Cell match on the night. I think,
Oh yeah.
as far as stars go, I'm interested to see what we get back with that. Like I said before, I would have been more than happy to just have one Hell in a Cell match, and that would have been the women's match. And not just because it's the first time, not just because I might be biased because I enjoy the women a lot better, but their feud has been the only one that's made logical sense to get to this point. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, they've not feuded enough to get to this, and Roman Reigns and Rusev is a bit of a joke to me anyway. That
Yeah.
they're here, so I think this match, to be quite honest with you, and it's been like this for a long time now, so it's not just this year, but I think by having a Hell in a Cell pay per view, I do not enjoy that, where it always has to come out. I believe it's a match that should only come out when absolutely needed. Um, and if you look back at the very first matches of Hell in a Cell, they were treated with a lot more respect than what they are now. I've got a feeling that this is gonna happen, and we're probably gonna forget about it by Raw. That's the way I feel about it. So yeah, and they'll be talking about Survivor Series. So yeah, be interested to see what we think of the show. I'm hoping as an all-round show, Matt, that it's going to be better to review than the the SmackDown one that we had earlier in the month. My goodness. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, let's hope, Matt. Let's. I think it's time for questions, Matt. So I hope you're ready. Got
Yes.
quite a
Very
few
good.
few that I picked out this week. Thank everyone for emailing in. If I don't get to your question, like always, I will reply back to you on the email if I haven't read it out. First question, Matt, is from Andy Clark from London. You have barely made any mention of the 2K17 game. Wondered if either of you have a copy or have even played it. Um, Matt, I don't know if you played the game at all. Have you seen the game at all? And oh, actually, yes, you have. You seen the 360 version? Tell
Yeah,
us about
I
that
actually missed the
experience.
opportunity of coming across that one. Yeah, I would say yeah, don't play the 360 one. It's abysmal.
You heard it there, folks. That's the review, and I'm with him. Apparently, it hasn't even got a career mode in it, so
No,
that's
nothing. It's like
backstage.
it's like they thought they made the last one worse. They went, how can we make this worse than last year's one? That's what they did on 360.
Yeah,
I've seen a little bit of the Xbox One. I haven't actually played it. I didn't really get drawn into the buzz this year. I mean,
no,
last year it was different and there was so many more improvements. But I find a lot of time with wrestling games like this, like they have one big year of drastic change, and then the next year is a bit slower. There's not as many changes whilst they're trying to figure out what the next step is because a turnaround for a game in 1 year isn't that long. There's not a lot of time to put in new changes or to improve things too much. So I think next year I will be a lot more up for it, and I will play this one. But I'm gonna wait. I'm just waiting for the price to get to a more reasonable level.
yeah. Perhaps the Christmas sales there. I think. I think in general on this one, I haven't been interested to buy it like Matt. I just haven't felt the buzz. I mean, maybe we're just not feeling Goldberg, Matt. Maybe him on the sale. I will say one thing. I've enjoyed